Yo, what's up guys? It's Punches and welcome to part 2 of how to try BPK in RuneScape. This video is going to focus on understanding PID, understanding how to use movement to your advantage, and learning the most effective ways to kill virtually anybody you fight, regardless of how good they are. A quick note for those of you that are brand new to try BPKing, there's a beginner guide uploaded to my channel that I'd recommend watching before you watch this one, so I will leave a link to that video in the description. Last thing I wanted to mention is that although you'd be using pure clips to demonstrate most of the techniques in here, pretty much everything is applicable to all combat brackets of try BPKing. When people talk about PID and PvP, they're referring to whether or not the game is prioritizing their actions before or after their opponent's actions. So as you can see from the description, PID randomly changes throughout your fight, and while it's not mandatory to wait for PID to spec, having your attack prioritized over your opponent's makes a huge difference in whether or not you're going to end up getting the kill. So what you guys are looking at here are images of how to determine whose PID it is. If you're using melee, you'll notice that if you don't have PID, your XP drop will appear before your hit markers, and if you have PID, your XP drop will appear after your hit marker appears. So as you can see here, when you don't have PID, you first see the XP drop, and then your hit splats will appear right after. And if you have PID, if you slow it down to frame by frame, you'll actually see that the hit markers appear before the XP drop. So it's a bit trickier to determine if you have PID or not when you're maging or ranging, but the main thing you have to understand is that having PID on a bolt or mage attack will always mean that your hit will appear a tick earlier than if you didn't have PID. So depending on how far away you are from your opponent will determine how many ticks your attack is delayed. If you're further than 2 squares from your opponent, like with this mage attack, having PID will mean your hit splat will appear in 2 ticks, or 1.2 seconds after you get the XP drop. And without PID, the hit splat will appear in 3 ticks, or roughly 1.8 seconds after the XP drop. You'll notice here that because I'm at a closer distance while bolting with PID, the hit splat will appear in 1 tick, or 0.6 seconds after the XP drop. And bolting without PID, it'll mean that the hit splat will be delayed by another tick, so it'll take 2 ticks, or 1.2 seconds for the hit to appear. So this is what's called the PID swap, and if it happens, your opponent can out-eat the spec. Basically what it means is your first part of your attack is off PID, and then the PID switches and the second part of your attack is on PID. What you're looking at here is the furthest distance you can attack your opponent from the current position. The blue squares represent the furthest your opponent can be without your special attack getting delayed by a tick. So as you can see, the distance is 3 tiles, but because movement is delayed in RuneScape, there's ways to make it appear that you're attacking from further away through clicking the ground at certain times and also animation stalling bolts or barrages. So the easiest way to utilize this is by speccing off an unfreeze, and I'll show you a few combos. So the first combo is AGS maul specking. First you want to click your AGS and melee weapon, then click the spec bar in them, and then you instantly want to click your Gmaul and spec bar again, and it should go off automatically if you do it correctly. If you want to reverse this and Gmaul to AGS, the only difference is that when you go to equip the AGS and you click the spec bar, you have to click your opponent again or else the AGS won't go off, and this combo actually lets you attack a tick quicker than the AGS maul would. The third combo is double Gmauling to Elder Maul whacking. So what you're going to do here is you're going to click your Gmaul, double click spec bar, click them again, and then equip your Elder Maul and click them once more, and it'll all stack together like this. The fourth combo is stacking a bolt with a double Gmaul. So what you're going to do is you're going to bolt. The second you see the XP drop, you're going to click your Gmaul, double click spec bar, and it'll look like that. Everything will stack together. Now if you want to do this with mage, it's the same thing, where you mage, you click your Gmaul, you double click spec bar and you click them, and again your mage attack will stack with both Gmauls. You could also use a hunter's crossbow to stack hits. So here you're going to bolt, then you're going to put on your 15%, you're going to click your Gmaul, double click spec bar, click your opponent, and then click your Elder Maul and click your opponent again, and it'll all stack like that. You could also use knives at this distance, so you could hit them once with the knife, equip your Gmaul and your fire cape, click spec bar, click them, click the AGS, click spec bar and click them again, and it'll stack quickly like that. So the second method to use movement to get kills is ground clicking towards your opponent when you're out of that 3 square radius that you could one tick from. The whole idea is that you want to click within that 3 square radius. So notice here I'm 5 squares away and I click towards him. The reason I click towards him is because I'm going to start moving my character into that spot that I could spec from. Then as I start moving, I want to do the combo. So the only difference between this and what I showed you before is there's that one extra click to get into the distance that you could spec from. Notice here I do the same thing, but I do it with the maul to claws, or you could do it maul to AGS, maul to anything. You could do it here, so I double click my Gmaul, I click them again, then I click the Elder Maul. You could do it with a bolt. Notice with a bolt, you ground click in front of them, and it'll stack from that distance. You're actually delaying the animation there. To do this with barrage, it's similar, but instead of ground clicking, you want to barrage, click them, then click your Gmaul, double click spec bar and click them again. You could also do it with a hunter's crossbow. Basically, I bolt once with the hunters, I ground click into that 1 tick distance, and then I Gmaul from that spot and everything goes off instantly. So the third way to get kills is movement delaying, and this is a little bit more difficult than the last one. Basically what you want to do is you want to click towards them, like I did with the D-skim, then click back, and then as you're running back, you want to click back towards in the direction, and what that's doing is the game has already registered that you're moving the other direction, but the movement hasn't showed it yet, so you can see how far away it looks like you're speccing from. This could be done with all the same combos. So right here, I staff bashed him. I click back at a 1 tick distance. As I'm running back, I click into 1 tick distance, and look how far away your character appears to be speccing from it. Most people will flick off melee per as you're running away because they don't think you're in actual 1 tick distance. Again, you could do it with the instamaul. Notice I attack him, I click back. As I'm running back, I click back towards him. And I'm almost off the screen by the time I'm Gmauling him. And I Elder Maul whack KO'd him for the kill. You could also do it with a bolt. So you bolt, you run towards them, you bolt again. As you're running back, you want to bolt one more time. The second you bolt, you want to ground click near him. And you'll see right here how far my Gmaul spec actually went off. I mean, that's about the furthest you could do it. But yeah, you could see why it's so lethal. You could also do it with Mage. Again, the only difference here is that you're gonna use the same pattern of clicking. So you're going to click away, but instead of ground clicking, you could just click him again, because clicking him again with the staff equipped will bring you towards him. And you could see how far away you could barrage Gmaul from. And then you could follow that with an Elder Maul whack also. You could do it with a hunter's crossbow. So you back click. Notice I switch. I click the ground near him. And you could see how far away I am when I AGS maul him. And here's just another example of doing it with the DDS. Click near him, and you can see I Gmaul from the furnace. So the fourth way to get kills is to tick delay your attack. Basically what this means is you're not attacking him for a tick on purpose, so you could try to hit him off prayer. So you'll notice what happens here is this guy's super reactive with his prayers, and it works good on people like this, where basically I run towards him, I double fake, and then I click the ground and I wait a tick. And that tick I waited was the reason that I hit him off prayer, because he switched prayers right away. Here again, instead of me attacking him with a bolt or a mage attack, I just waited patiently for him to come in. And I was able to AGS maul him off prayer, as opposed to if I bolted him there, I wouldn't have been able to AGS maul him in time. And for the last time, instead of barrage and insta-mauling him instantly, I clicked the ground, waited a tick, and me waiting a tick made it so my Gmaul was off prayer. So anti-stack is another really effective way to get kills. Basically it works the best after you've just been frozen or if you're both unfrozen. And what you want to do is you want to blood barrage in anticipation that they're going to come towards you. And they assume that if they don't get frozen as you mage, that you splashed because they assumed you barraged, and in which case if you splashed they took 0 damage. So you can see here these people are running in towards me and they don't actually realize they've taken any damage whatsoever. And it works with every combo that I mentioned before. Notice here I did it with an AGS. And here I did it by stacking a blood barrage with a double Gmaul. Well, here was a single Gmaul to Elder whack, and then here was a double Gmaul to Elder whack. And yeah, people just don't realize they're at such low HP when they're coming towards you, so it works really well. So there's a lot of people that PK that can't melee but will sit low enough HP for you to kill them with a Debo to D-Axe. So what you want to do is make sure you're in the distance that you can melee them, in which case they'll 100% be camping melee. And you want to go for the spec really after a big bolt works the best. You could also do it as you're running away with Fire Cape on, because having the Fire Cape equipped normally forces them to pray melee. And the last way you could do it is you could also use D-Knives at 1-step distance, so they'll almost certainly be praying melee. And yeah, they don't realize how low their HP is getting from the D-Knives. So these are the best tips I have when it comes to killing virtually anybody you fight. Obviously, since everybody who tried BKs has a unique style, some of these will work better on certain people than others. The whole idea is to just learn some of these methods and techniques, and then when you find a fight, cycle through them until you find one that works to kill chance them with. If you want to find what works quicker, you should pay attention to the melee prayer and when they turn it on and off. Basically, if someone doesn't pray melee when you're about to be unfrozen, specking off an unfreeze would probably work better than instantly moving and showing them that you're unfrozen. If movement away from your opponent makes them turn off melee prayer, using the method to delay movement would probably work better. If your opponent tends to camp melee prayer, then you should probably pull a debo out. And basically, if you find a few combos that work, you should cycle through them each fight, because this will make you unpredictable and you'll be able to get a lot more kill chances like that. If you have any questions or if something was unclear, leave your comment in the comments and I'll do my best to answer it. Also, if you enjoyed the video and made it to the end, I'd appreciate if you dropped a like on the vid and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subbed. And yeah, thanks again for watching, boys. Peace.